Hey guys, Krootman here, and I got a lot of DMs and messages and a lot more comments on my shutting down my farm video than I thought I would get. And a lot of people have been telling me that they shut their farms down as well. Well, what I wanted to go over in this video, because all of that talk about shutting down got me thinking, how are you taking care of your mining room when everything is shut down? And there's a few things that I wanted to go over. The first one is, and this is key, if you have something like me where you have a shed, right, that you have intakes and then you have exhaust fans. Well, if most of your shed is off or all of your shed is off, then they don't really need to be going. But what I'm going to tell you is, I think it's important to keep a constant temperature in your crypto mining shed or room or whatever, because the last thing you want is, you don't want GPUs to get corroded. I bought a few GPUs from a farm from someone who lived down in Florida a long time ago, and I lost 2 or 3 GPUs from that batch because when he stored them, he turned them off, and it was a super humid environment, and I think some of the cards got damaged. And what I'm telling you guys is, you don't want your cards to get damaged when they're off. So there's a few things I would recommend. One, if at all possible, if you have anything that's remotely profitable, I would recommend leaving at least one rig on and maybe some other devices. In my case, my 170HXs are still profitable, as are my ASICs and my CPUs. So I'm still generating heat. So if you can see right here, it's still pretty dry in here, and it's about 90 degrees with the fans off. Now the fans only run, honestly, for like 10-15 minutes every hour. They get all the air out, and then that's it. So it's really important to keep your humidity as low as you possibly can, especially when these cards are not on. So like if it was raining and it was like 70% humidity outside, I would probably try to get this shed up to like 95 degrees plus. I mean, my CPUs would get a little hotter, but that's okay, because it's really important that the cards aren't hot, so you don't want humidity or condensation or anything to build up on any of your parts, because that would be really bad. Another thing you also want to do is, you want to make sure that you understand the differences between your server cases. Like this one, for example, I turned the power completely off because you don't want these fans to run, because they run when it's plugged in. And the same goes with these PCSP octo miners. When these ones, the way they work, when the fans are plugged in, they go 100%. So if you noticed right down here, these PCSP octo miners, they're not even plugged in, right? Whereas like these eBay server cases that I have 2 of them, you can just turn the power switch off and they'll be fine. So you have to know the difference. Whereas these octo miner, these newer X12 Ultras, the latest generation, you can keep them plugged in, and as long as they're powered off, nothing is on. So you have to know the difference on how your server cases work. And then another thing that I would recommend doing is I would probably shut down I'd probably just turn off the circuits that are not even being used. There's no reason to leave them on if they're not being used. Another thing, and this is huge, I really think it's important to have temperature controls on your fans. I have them. I think mine, I just dialed it back to like 95 right now, just while I'm filming this video. But I cranked it to 89, and you can see the fans have kicked back on, right? And you'll just slowly watch the temperature of these CPUs as we film. They'll just start dropping. Really miss this company, and I wish I had more of their coolers. But you can already see the temperature's dropping, and the temperature in the shed as a whole should drop. But this isn't quite as much, as I said, this isn't quite as much of a problem when it's not raining out. But you definitely want the humidity to be like under 50%. I prefer between the 30s and the 40s. I want it dry in my room. And then another thing that you'll probably want to do is maybe like once a week for maybe like an hour or 2, you'll probably want to turn some of these back on just to make sure there's no issues, or you'll want to visually inspect them daily. And another reason you might not want the fans on all the time is, when you're on like hibernation mode and you're really trying to conserve power, you don't want to waste any power. So anything that you have on is a waste. So you want to turn everything off that you don't need on. says the guy who has this PC on still, and I'm actually probably going to turn this off as I'm talking. It is really, really important to make sure that you are in control of the climate and everything in your shed or your mining room when you have everything off like this, because you don't want your equipment to get damaged. You don't want it to get wet. You know, I even noticed these boxes, they get a little damp when I have this thing running, you know, when I have, when it's like very humid out here, which I normally don't care about because all my GPUs are on, and you know that inside the cases, you know, they're not humid or anything, but when they're off, you gotta be careful. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching this quick video. It's just me giving you tips on what you need to do to get your rigs safe when they're powered off, because you do not want to have them get damaged when they're powered off, because you want to be able to be ready to turn back on a moment's notice, because GPU mining is hurting right now, but it is not dead at all. GPU mining will come back. It's never dead. And you know, I have a great power rate. It's not as good as it once was, but it's still good, and I will be ready to turn back on. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this quick video. You really, really want to make sure that you follow the steps that I talked about. So thanks again for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Krootman is out.